What's up, everybody? It is Peaceful here. I got another sweet deck for you today. We're going to be going over a Spectrum ongoing Thanos deck. I love this deck. This is one of my favorite archetypes to play back when I first got Thanos, other than Lockjaw. Spectrum was also frequently featured in my favorite deck when I first started playing, which was the Destroyer Spectrum ongoing deck, where you basically the two-lane deck that a lot of us started playing with. So I'm super excited to go over this deck today. I think this deck is a lot of fun, and there's kind of a sleeper card in this deck that I think is secretly like just one of the best cards in the metagame right now. So we're going to get into that in just a second, but before we do, please, if you enjoy this content, make sure you like the video, make sure you are subscribed so you don't miss more content. And if you want to let me know down below what other decks you'd like to see in the comments, I'd really appreciate it. All of that really helps me out in the algorithm, helps my videos get to more people, and helps me make more content. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. So here is the deck. This is my take on Spectrum Thanos ongoing. Now you'll notice some cards in here that you might wonder why I'm playing over certain other cards. So we're going to go over in replacement some of that. Mojo being the big one. We could be playing Luke Cage or Mobius here. I've felt like since the change to Loki and stuff, I haven't seen a ton of Loki personally. So I put Mojo in just because the raw power is so good, and Elsa is still a very popular card. And Mojo is in the world full of Elsas, Mojo is just like one of the best cards you can have because that they're going to fill up a certain lane. You just get a two cost 8 power card. It's just crazy. So really have enjoyed Mojo in this deck. Felt like he stole me a lot of games that I wouldn't have won otherwise. And I think at least one of those makes it into the video. You definitely could be running some of those other cards in that spot, which we'll get into when we get into the replacement section of the video. But other than that, like this is a pretty stock ongoing style deck. You're playing this a little bit differently than normal Thanos. Now you can curve out into your Professor X. Professor X very conveniently is an ongoing card, but you generally don't have to do that to win, which is one of the really nice things about this build in particular that I've really enjoyed. You can just curve out with your normal cards, play some stones, Nico, armor and Cosmo in a couple lanes to protect your stuff, Super Scroll, Iron Man, Blue Marvel, and then the last turn Spectrum and win the game that way. You'd be surprised how many times that works. Spectrum just the added 2 power. I was kind of I tried it because I love Spectrum, but I didn't actually think it was going to make a big difference, and it turns out it does. Just because now Spectrum can actually help challenge a lane by herself very well, which is really nice and makes a big difference in her playability in the metagame. Now, let's go ahead and get into some of the key combos. Obviously, Nico plus the stones is a big deal in this deck. That's just, turning one of them into a 6 cost, getting an extra copy of Time Stone, destroying, say, Reality Stone and drawing 2 cards on top of the card you're already drawing. Just lets you churn through your deck and really find a lot of your key pieces that you need in your matchup. Speaking of which, Super Scroll. I mentioned in the beginning of the video there was a card that I think is super OP right now in the metagame, and here he is. My boy Super Scroll. The metagame's in a funny place when Super Scroll starts showing up again. Lots of destroy decks out there because of Deadpool, lots of nulls to steal, lots of mirror matches where Super Scroll is just absolutely ridiculous. Whether it be Thanos ongoing Spectrum or just I've seen just ongoing Spectrum decks without Thanos, just running a normal set of cards and no Thanos, and that he's still very good there, stealing their Iron Man, stealing their Professor X. Like there was a few games when I was playing this deck where I was like, oh, they're going to Professor X. They clearly have it. I'm just going to play Super Scroll over here. So I win this lane and then lock them out of playing more cards. And it works out pretty well. You'd be shocked how many times you get to snag their Professor X with Super Scroll and win a lane that way. And then I put Armor and Cosmo on here. Armor and Cosmo both are very good right now. There's a lot of decks, a lot of destroy decks running around, a lot of discard decks that I've been seeing. The metagame has really opened up since our OTA patch last week, made a lot of decks viable. Even if they're not quite as good as the strongest decks, they still have the power to compete when they need to. And there's for whatever reason, a lot of Sarah control running around, a lot of Sarah style decks that are trying to play reactively now that some of the more powerful proactive strategies have been nerfed, and Armor and Cosmo are really good against them as well. So you just get a lot of value just having these cards in your deck, and they are ongoing, so you get to buff them up with Spectrum. So all of these things tie together to just give you a lot of outs to a lot of different matchups. So let's sort of go over what sort of hands you should be looking to snap with this deck. So I put tempo into Spectrum. I know that's kind of a vague thing, but if you are playing cards every turn using your energy, playing out, filling up a couple of lanes with decent power on cards into Spectrum on turn 6, a lot of the times that's good enough to win. And that's what's cool about this deck is one of the weaknesses of your typical Thanos control is it's very reliant on drawing the early ramp. That's why you see a lot of people running Psylocke to go along with the stones, because the stones just ends up not being enough on its own. You need to make sure you have that consistency of hitting your ramp into 5-drop, and this deck just doesn't. There's actually times, and I think there's a couple of the games in this video where you'll see it, if I'm not mistaken, where I actually have Time Stone into Professor X as an option, and I choose not to because the other options in my hand are just better. And that's what I mean by tempo. Like, this deck has a lot more early plays. You have Elsa to buff them up, and a lot of ways to sort of take advantage of that early tempo just by playing Spectrum on 6. So keep that in mind. That's usually a hand that you're going to want to snap. You see, I did put Professor X draws because your Professor X draws in this deck are very reliable, because a lot of times you can go like Soul Stone, Power Stone, Time Stone early, Professor X that lane, and even if they play something there kind of big, they might think they can win or take it over with a Jeff or a Claw or something, and you can just play Spectrum and still win that lane. I got people a few times with that. Is a Professor X is still a very strong proactive play in this, and your opponents won't hate you quite as much because we're not going Eliath on turn 6 after Professor Xing them. So you get that not having your opponents hate you equity a little bit, which is great. See, I put here stones plus blue marble. You could also fill in tempo plus blue marble. Anytime where you curve out into blue marble with like a pretty full board, blue marble is going to win you a lot of games. You'll notice that I've had a couple people while I was streaming this comment, oh, you're actually playing Blue Marble, because I'm a notorious Blue Marble hater in Thanos normally. Like the typical Thanos control decks, I really don't like him because it feels like when you have a good draw, he's a really good card. And when you have like a medium or a normal draw, like something where you're not hitting your stones as early and you're playing your draws a little bit more clunky, he's just like a useless card in your hand. So I've not been a big fan of him in traditional control Thanos. I usually run Claw over him, but in this deck, I do like him quite a bit because you have armor and Cosmo to protect your stones. That's a big deal. And you also just have more early plays that you're getting down. So he just buffs more cards. A lot of the times he's going to be like 11, 12, 13 power quite easily. And that's just really, really good. So I found him to be quite effective in this deck. And that's a really good strategy to snap there, especially if you have the armor and Cosmo to protect some of your key cards. You'll see I also put Cosmo / armor in key matchups. Like I said, there's a lot of destroy running, a lot of discard. You can snipe them really well with these cards and win a lot of games that you wouldn't normally win by playing your armor and Cosmo to snipe those key cards. So keep an eye out for that. Now, just for a few things, a few flex spots replacements you can make. There are spots in this deck where you could kind of sub out some cards, and I know a lot of people didn't pick up Nico, so if you're one of those people missing Nico, don't worry. There's a lot of different cards you can sub in. I see a lot of people running Ant-Man. I'm personally not a fan of Ant-Man, but if you wanted that extra 1-drop, I would not fault you for that. I would personally, if you're going to take out Nico, put in Luke Cage, put in Mobius. Those cards are really good in the metagame as well. I actually missed Mobius quite a bit running this deck, but I couldn't figure out what card to cut. So, if you're missing Nico, that's probably what I would sub in is Mobius, because again, destroy is everywhere and people tend to run death, even though Mobius is pretty prevalent in a lot of other decks, simply because when it's not there, it's just such a good card. Getting a zero cost 12 power card is insane. So having Mobius against that matchup is just very, very good and saves you a lot of the times where you would normally lose because they have that death to play for free. Other than that, there are some flex spots. Like I wouldn't recommend cutting Elsa, but it does kind of suck not having Jeff or Vision to go with her to make her a little bit stronger. So those are cards you could try and fit in if you wanted to make a couple changes. I just personally, this was me kind of looking at Spectrum as a card and being like, how can I go full ham on Spectrum and get as many ongoings in there as I'm comfortable with while still playing the cards that I think I need to play, like Nico and Elsa. So this is kind of where I ended up. If you wanted to go a little bit with a little bit more synergy for Elsa, so you're not as reliant on Spectrum, you could definitely try and fit in Jeff and Vision as well. Now, that's really all I had for the deck guide today. I hope this helps you all out. If you want a little bit more in-depth strategy on how to play Thanos, I do have some other Thanos deck guides. I will put a link right here for you if you want to watch those as well to get a little bit more familiar with Thanos if you haven't played it before. Other than that, that's all I got for you today. Remember, please subscribe if you enjoy the content. It really helps me out. And enjoy the games. There's some sweet ones from this. So have a good one. Quinny, I just saw your comment on my post. Bringing the heat already. I love it. That is really cool. This is brutal. Is this not like one of the worst titles they've ever done? Can't win unless you lose? We'll see. We'll see. So it's Shuri. Wait, what's happening? He played Captain America unironically in his deck. Am I gonna get... No, he's not gonna... Let's do this. Because we're not gonna win this. Zap? So this won't work this turn, right? It says it still works.
I am Iron Man.
They are. Iron Man. Iron Man, huh? I wasn't expecting Iron Man. It's a Spectrum deck. This never gets zapped, chat. Please don't get zapped. Yes.
Victory.
Actually, I didn't even pay attention. No, that stone, it didn't work because that stone got zapped by the thing. This is annoying. They gotta have Luke Cage in their deck, right? Avengers assemble! We're gonna play all this stuff next turn. I don't think they do, Bien. I think those are like the one thing that's truly like exclusive to... It's not over. Iron Man.
I am Iron Man.
Oh, that's really good, right? We just super scroll mid.
Opponent snapped.
Scroll is bananas.
Oh, snap.
They're gonna Spectrum mid as well, right? Spectrum? Yep. Cute. Super Scroll. Get Super Scroll.
Destiny will arrive.
Nico! I love seeing Nico opening hand.
Opponent snapped.
It's like a Shuri deck, isn't it? Do not emote title? Yeah. It's Destroy. Also a really good deck for this location, or for this location, yeah. Ooh, I'll take that. We're on the kill their null plan, chat. What do they get? Ooh, we got Deadpool. This is awkward. We didn't draw one of our cheaper cards. Oh, it's a soul. Yeah, so Syndrome, that is definitely true. Would it be like the perfect irony to put that as my title? We kind of want this to be a surprise, but I think we have to play it. Oh, but what are we doing next turn then? Yep. Yep. We just need to um not contest this. Wait, Jean Grey's so good against them. You love peaceful? Oh, thank you. It's Frey! How's it going, Frey? Okay. Yep. Carnage. They're gonna do all the hard work, chat, and then we're gonna get the reward. That's the goal anyway. Wait. We do have stones left, right? Okay. What do you got? Null? Oh, you're gonna be very sad, friend. Nice, I guess. What? That's bad. Wait, we get double. And they have to play here? I kind of want to snap back. Do we care about Killmonger? This still beats Killmonger. They just can't play anything big enough over here for me to be scared. And this Super Scroll gets double null. I'm going for it, chat. I'm pretty sure we win. Even through a Killmonger. Yep. No! No! No, this is the way we lose. Oh my god. No. Oh my god. No, wait. We're fine. Holy crap, this was close. It's so good, chat. I don't cannot believe they did that. That doesn't make any sense. They took the win off of the board. If I just played something middle, I won. Okay. Almost like they could see what I was doing, chat. Almost. I think that's less likely now that my name has changed, to be honest, but it is still annoying. That was a weird play, right? I'm not crazy for thinking that. Felt like a really weird play. Sure.
I am Iron Man.
That's where they Professor X'd? What? Should have done it the other way. I don't know. Hmm. Hmm. Wait, what? I don't understand what that's. I don't understand what's going on, chat. Maybe I need to take that into account that they're making some very questionable plays. Maybe they're newer. I don't know. What? They stayed for this? Huh?
Victory.
Paid actor?